I've had my fair share of rants and appeals on social media, along with many of you who post your wishes and frustrations too. But the past few weeks during this quarantine, I have been extra mindful about what I post. It's important to make our voices heard, but also we don't want to contribute to the noise, as they call it. What is noise? And how else can we fight for what is right? That is why I decided to make this video, and thanks to my friend Anna for saying yes.
Hi, Ans.
Hi!
Thank you so much for your time and for sharing this special skill of yours, letter
Thank you.
writing.
Yes, letter writing. So letter writing is something that I've always done since I was in high school. Because every time I would complain about the situation, my dad would say, write a letter. Huwag ka magreklamo, write a letter. Parang he wanted me to be always action-oriented. I always joke that it's my hobby to write letters.
But it is.
But it is. Tapos in college, I went to UP Diliman and I was upset about all the plastics and all the waste that was being thrown everywhere. And my friend and I decided to write a letter to the Vice Chancellor for Community Affairs. Our proposal in that letter was to ban styrofoam in UP. And so many people told me, you're never going to be able to do it. UP is so big. You're not even in the student council. You're just an ordinary student. But I said, I have nothing to lose. So we wrote it. Then we got invited to go to her office. And within a few months, she actually issued a campus-wide memo to ban styrofoam in UP. And that was back in 2010.
Wow. So that's when
Yeah.
you knew writing letters works. And Anna and I felt it was so important to share this skill kasi now in the age of social media, post agad. And
Yes.
although the posts do reach,
I guess if you want to really directly engage who your target audience is, there's so much value in directly contacting that person or that agency and writing.
today Anna's going to give us a crash course on how we can
Wow!
effectively write letters.
Okay, so this presentation, my presentation talaga is
Ah.
called Letter Writing in the Time of COVID-19. So I want to share a case study of a good friend of mine. This happened second week of the community quarantine. And he is a frequent shopper in the Rustan's Marketplace. It's a supermarket. Since he's a long time suki there, he knows na the staff, the managers. He asked, oh, kamusta kayo? Paano kayo nakakarating dito? And he found out that some of the workers were walking up to 2 hours and some of them were actually sleeping outside. He decided to write dun sa comment section nung post ng Rustan. And then, sumulat yung Rustan sa kanya.
So
said,
this on the left is a comment on a Facebook page post.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. So hindi niya kailangan maghanap ng kakilala sa Rustan's management, ganon. Literally sa Facebook.
Yeah, that was his next step. Rustans reached out to him in private. Thank you for telling us this. We already have 13 vans and we're working on adding some more. And we're also partnering with other branches. And then bumalik yung friend ko sa Rustans and talked to the staff. And they changed their policy. So they provided more transportation. They actually reshuffled the staff so that kung mas malapit yung bahay mo sa ganitong branch, dun ka na pupunta. They also allowed sleeping inside and provided beddings for them. You know, in times like this, sometimes hindi naman alam kung yung top management alam na nangyayari to.
Yeah.
Baka yung manager ng store stressed din, hindi niya na naisip. We don't know. Instead of just ranting about it, he reached out and yun naman pala, they were working on providing transportation. There really is so much merit to reaching out and being specific about the concerns that you have.
Galing.
So this is my guide when I teach this course. These are just some questions that I try to go through. Who do you want to write? Why that specific person? For example, for me, if I write, let's say a mayor, I'll cite the local government code na under the local government code, this is under your jurisdiction. Just to let them know also that you did your homework. And then what problem would you like to address? Why does this mean something to you? I think this is always so important to talk about. Bakit ito mahalaga sa'yo? Why does it matter? Why does this affect you so deeply enough that you have to write a letter? You have to have something at stake. And then, what do you want to say and what solutions do you think would work? As much as possible, I keep my letters to one page. I'm a fan of my writing style is not to write longer but to write better.
I think ang gandang framework nito of writing a letter because let's say it's a checklist of 5. Before you write it, think of the answer to that first para buong yung magiging appeal mo, kumbaga, to who you're.
Yes. This
Okay,
is a
eto na.
sample. You don't have to follow this the way that I have ordered it, but this is a general flow. You write the name, the position, the affiliation of who you're writing to, introduce yourself and why this matters to you. Kunwari, I'm Oposa, I'm a resident at the city, and I've observed that this. Raise your concern and issues and cite where you saw or heard them. Kunwari, I read on CNN Philippines that this happened, or I saw a photo being circulated on social media. So if possible, you can maybe add a screenshot of the source or the link to the source para makita rin nila. And then, ayan, propose solutions and cite other sources. So for example, if you say, walang transportation yung healthcare workers in this city, nakita ko na sa kabilang syudad, ito yung ginawa nila, baka naman pwede nating gawin. And then, yun, say thanks and extend a hand, but be realistic about what you can propose. Like, huwag mo namang sabihin na pwede kang tumulong sa pag-craft ng strategy for COVID-19 prevention kung hindi mo naman yun skill, di ba? But what can you do with the skills that you have? Is it writing a memo to your village or sharing the update on social media? And then you sign off and include also the best way to contact you. Kung mobile, email, kung saan ka ba mas active. Ayan, ito yung mga kinds of letters. Kasi sometimes when we say writing letters, some people get intimidated na hindi naman ako writer, hindi naman ako magaling magsulat. I've heard a lot of people say, hindi ako magaling mag-English, kaya kinakabahan ako to write a letter. But it really doesn't matter that much as long as your message is clear. So one is inquiring or clarifying about a rule or provision, especially now, every day, iba yung rules or may binabago, ina-adjust, kanyan. So it's important for us to clarify. Next is to suggest a different way of doing things. The governor of Cavite wrote to Duterte asking for more attention on the middle class, and Duterte actually responded. Another way is to ask for support. Now a lot of people are fundraising, asking for donations. And then another thing that we forget is to check in on our family and friends. Just a few days ago, I learned that one of my friends lost her job because of the closure of the business that she was in. So that's another form of letter writing, just to say, oh, kamusta ka na? I'm sorry about what happened. How can I help? And then, ito yung pinaka nakakalimutan ng mga tao is to give credit where credit is due. Which just means if there is something good going on, let's virtually pat them on the back also to say, okay yung ginagawa mo, go, push mo yan.
Love that. Kasi in the same way that we have the power to make reklamo, we also have the power to acknowledge good acts and decisions.
Yes. So here are some of the tips that I've learned. So first is find the facts. I made this number 1 kasi ngayon, ang daming hearsay at ang daming inaccurate news. yung example that happened was, someone messaged our group and said, namatay na yung lolo ni ganito. So I thought about messaging that person to say, I'm sorry about your loss. Tapos yun pala, buhay pa. Buti na lang hindi ko minessage. Buti I verified first.
Actually, I did a video with Father Kaluwag about spiritual advice. And the questions, is there a Christ-like way to get angry? And Father Kaluwag said, yes, righteous anger. But number 1 rule is, it has to be based on the facts. I guess this also applies for social media. Like before we react, check muna natin baka 10 hours ago pa yung tweet na nireactan mo. Yung pala.
Yes. Or it's a photo that was posted many years ago. So it's really important to verify. So next is connect with the right person. You have to determine who is the best person to address your concern. Minsan, tinatarget mo yung anger mo to, kunwari, a national government agency. Yun pala, the person you have to talk to is the local government or your barangay. Make sure that you contact the right person. And then, what's the best way to reach that person? Kasi sometimes may mga taong hindi nagche-check ng email. Minsan, merong active naman on social media.
For example, email of a public official or a private company. Usually naman, nasa website yun, di ba? So, Googleable.
Yes, Googleable. Or, I look at the website, and if wala yung email doon, tatawagan ko yung office to say, ano po yung email address? Next, I thought this to me is central to my advocacy which is to be constructive. You know, you don't write to your mayor just to rant. It's not going to get anywhere. If you want people to act, then they're not going to make time for noise. Make a suggestion based on your experience and your expertise. Then eto, napaka-importante na to always be respectful because you will always accomplish more by being kind than being mean or aggressive. Eto, express gratitude. Kahit sino pa yan, kahit anong posisyon, everyone is looking for validation and assurance. Make sure you say thank you. Number 6, proofread or ask someone to proofread kung hindi ka confident sa sinulat mo. It's not just so much the grammar and the punctuation mark. It's also the content and how you say it. Is this the right time? Is this the right image? Is this the right word to use?
I like that. And I listened to a podcast recently. Sabi niya, you have to be careful with your choice of words when trying to convince someone kasi iba yung aggressive sa assertive. You have to be assertive but not aggressive.
Word choice is really so important. And then here are other lessons that I've learned. The letter may not be the make or break, but it does contribute. My dad would always say, if you write a letter, there's a 50-50 chance that you'll get a reply. But if you don't, there's a 100% chance that you won't make a difference. So take that chance.
A lot of people na feel na, sino ba ako? Why will they listen to me? Hindi naman ako nasa posisyon.
That's not true at all. All of us have every right as citizens of this country, as customers, as taxpayers. So we need to make that effort.
Oh, thank you, Anne, for sharing your prized notes.
Wow!
Hindi, because Anne actually teaches this class. So,
workshops, yeah.
Thank you. We're so lucky. You're so generous to share this.
This isn't COVID-19 related, but on our website, savephilippineseas.org, we actually have a lot of sample letters that people can download that are more environment related. So it might not apply to everyone, but at least it gives you templates or examples of how we've reached out to different organizations and governments.
And I will link that below in the description box in case anyone wants to check that out. Or maybe if you reword it nga, it will apply to something else. I love it. Para ako nag-webinar on letter writing.
Thank you for having me.